Warm tea left steaming on the dining table, a bobbin of silk perfectly balanced on a sewing machine, a crew that simply vanished into thin air. This is the legend of the ghost ship Mary Celeste. The warm meals, the supernatural vanishing, even the name Marie, none of it actually happened. These specific details trace back to a fictional short story published in 1884. The author was a 24-year-old physician who would later create Sherlock Holmes, Arthur Conan Doyle. Doyle's fictional tale was so widely read that the public accepted it as a genuine account. His imagined events plastered over the actual evidence of a real ship, the Mary Celeste, discovered drifting in the Atlantic in 1872. To understand the actual fate of the 10 people aboard that ship, we have to look at how a piece of Victorian entertainment replaced a maritime tragedy. On December 5, 1872, the British brig Dei Gratia spotted the Mary Celeste drifting 400 miles east of the Azores. The cargo was largely intact, and a 6-month supply of food sat untouched. Not a single person was on board. 12 years later, Doyle wrote his fiction using the literary device of a survivor's first-person diary. He borrowed the basic premise of the drifting ship, but changed the destination, altered the cargo to tallow and clocks, and inserted fake passengers among real names to make the account feel authentic. The illusion worked perfectly. By 1885, reputable newspapers like the Boston Herald were reprinting Doyle's fictional ghost story verbatim as a factual, investigative news report. Official investigations favored drama over data. Attorney General Solly Flood championed a mutiny theory, insisting a sword found in the captain's cabin bore marks of foul play. Chemical tests later proved the marks were just rust, but the accusation stuck. When Doyle's story was reprinted as news, it was framed as the definitive ending to the mystery. This repetition in the press cemented his inventions into history, leaving the actual, unresolved missing persons case ignored for decades. The sensationalism of the Mary Celeste myth essentially buried the actual physical state of the ship found drifting in the Atlantic. The boarding party found unmade beds, a child's imprint in the mattress, a disassembled water pump, and deep water sloshing below deck. Crucially, the ship's only lifeboat was missing. Trailing behind the vessel was a heavy rope, snapped and frayed at the end. Below deck sat the catalyst for the abandonment, a cargo of 1,701 barrels of highly flammable industrial alcohol. This diagram of the ship's hold reveals a vital discrepancy. When the cargo was finally unloaded, 9 specific barrels were completely empty. Unlike the rest of the white oak cargo, these 9 were made of red oak. Red oak is highly porous wood. It allowed the alcohol to leak and evaporate, filling the warm, sealed hold with a dense, invisible, and highly explosive vapor. Modern chemistry explains what happened next. In a 2006 experiment at University College London, Dr. Andrea Sella replicated the hold and ignited the vapor. The result was a massive pressure wave, a specific type of explosion that forcefully blows heavy wooden deck hatches upward without leaving a single scorch mark or trace of fire behind. Faced with a violent explosion beneath his feet and the threat of fire, the captain had a clear reason to order an immediate evacuation. If a pressure wave had rumbled through the hold, it explains why the boarding party found the water pump disassembled. Captain Briggs was checking to see if the ship had been structurally compromised. When he found 3 feet of water and felt the explosive fumes, he deployed a cautious tactical move known as an arm's-length strategy. After the hatches blew, Briggs recognized the extreme danger of a secondary blast. He made a calculated decision to get his family and crew off the deck while the volatile fumes cleared out. Looking at this top-down layout of the evacuation, you can see how Briggs ordered everyone into the small lifeboat, but kept them physically connected to the main ship using a thick tow line. He set the sails to maintain a slow forward momentum. This kept the massive hull from drifting backward and crushing their small boat. They maintained a safe distance, waiting for the toxic air to vent from the open cargo hold. A sudden squall or a heavy wave struck. The mechanical strain peaked and the tow line snapped. 10 people were left adrift in a tiny rowboat with minimal provisions. They could only watch as their massive, empty ship sailed away over the horizon, leaving them completely stranded. Captain Briggs made a rational, protective choice that was undone by terrible luck. But because an unsolved tragedy leaves an uncomfortable silence, society eagerly replaced a real man's bravery with a thrill.